just want to talk about where we are in the federal budget right now. Because you know they passed, they did have an agreement to continue to have the federal budget operate. And this talks about, because they had to pass something by January 1st or it would have gone off the fiscal cliff. But basically what they did is they just delayed it for 2 months. So that if they don't agree to something, then it's going to come up again in March. It will. So you know they did raise some of the things that happened in the revenue is they raised taxes on families who make $400,000, or individuals who make $400,000 and above, and families who make $450,000. There were some good things in this bill. They extended unemployment insurance, which is very helpful to people who are still out of work. They extended the farm bill and they postponed the sequestration. And then it has some specific things that impact families in child care. The child care tax credit was retained at $1,000 for 5 years, and the earned income tax credit rule simplification rules would be extended, as would credit for 3 or more children. So if you have more children, Sharon's happy about that. And the dependent care tax credit has a higher credit rate of 35%, would be retained, as would the increase in eligible expenses of $3,000 for one child and $6,000 for 2 or more. So that's all good news. But you can see the agreement delayed sequestration for 2 months. And this is where we get back to those charts, because what the sequestration said is that if there's not an agreement that raises enough money, then there are going to be these automatic cuts to the discretionary funding. So you remember that's only about 1/3 of the budget. And there has been effort to keep some legislators and some people are trying to keep the military from being included in that, which would mean even more drastic cuts to everything else, since that's a big part of the discretionary funding. And as far as child care, it falls both in discretionary and mandatory funding. So not all federal child care funding would be cut at 8% if that happened, but it would have a significant impact. It would impact the Child Care Development Block Grant. There's no reason this shouldn't be a bipartisan issue of supporting children in human needs. So
also getting them involved out there.
Yep.
Ah, okay. So
and help them understand the budget, because they may not, they probably are not tuning into it either. Your parents figure out who their U.S. reps are, have them, then they can just call them. So one good news is we're slowly recovering from the Great Recession. And this is reflected in the fact that Pennsylvania's tax collections are running $171.5 million above estimate. So that's a lot. There's good news, right? So our next thing to look for in the state budget is that the governor's budget will be released in February, and then there's the process, not quite as complicated as the federal, resulting in a new budget July 1st.